Hello, this is Mrs. White, and I'll be talking about what is evolution. Now, what is evolution? Evolution is a change over time. Specifically, it is a change of traits in a species over successive generation. And over long periods of time, these species change or evolve into an entirely new species. Now, evolution is believed to occur because environmental factors has to do with it, such as changing temperature, amount of space, available food, and water. And these factors determine whether these individuals or species will be most successful in the environment where it's at. Now, successful individuals have better traits and are most likely to survive, reproduce, and pass their traits to their offspring. And over time, the frequency of these better traits or species change. So more individuals will have this desirable trait, and eventually the species will evolve to entirely new species. Let's take a look at this example over here. Now, if you look at it, this diagram represents individuals of species with and without the better trait. And in this case, the better trait in this environment is the pink color. Now, over time, if this pink color, which represents a trait, is more desirable in this environment, over a period of time, eventually, there'll be more of the pink traits that will appear in the succeeding generations, whereas the green trait, which is a trait that unfortunately not suitable for this environment, will eventually either die off or they have to migrate or move elsewhere. Now, today, every species is well suited for its environment. And as environments change, species evolve. Species can change, they die off, or evolve into a completely new species. Now, let's take a look at this example over here. The polar bear are well suited in an environment such as the Arctic climate. Now, it camouflages well because of its white fur, and it has a thick layer of fat to keep them warm in this harsh, cold environment. And this is an example of how organisms actually become an entirely new species from all other bears that we know around. Now, for the most part, evolution is a very slow process. It can take hundreds of thousands of years for species to evolve into a new species. And scientists believe it took more than 100 million years for all of the species on Earth to evolve. So it really, really take time. But there's such a thing as rapid evolution. And there are some examples of rapid evolution that we already know about, which is the antibiotic resistance of bacteria. And some bacteria can be unaffected by the antibiotics that we take, for example. And these species evolved from just a few individual bacteria that had this trait to be antibiotic resistant. Now, this trait made them survive and more likely to pass on that trait to their offspring. Thus, they become antibiotic resistant. And the reason for this is because bacteria reproduce so quickly that the resistance to bacteria become numerous very, very quick. And which is the reason why if you take antibiotics, you don't want to take it over and over or longer than what is prescribed. It's because there's big chance that bacteria would be resistant to the antibiotic to kill them due to high frequency of reproduction. And you can also say the mutation in itself when they reproduce. Now, if there is a significant change in environment, it also triggers rapid evolution because suddenly the factors that determine what individuals are most successful just drastically change, in short. And the individuals who was once successful in surviving in this environment are not anymore suited to it. And therefore, these individuals could die off and be replaced with individuals with different traits that turned out to be now successful in this changing environment. What are those type of environment that you could also see rapid evolution? Well, rapid evolution in changing environment often happens after a big natural disaster, such as forest fires, floods, volcanic eruptions, and events. And organisms that most likely have survived, they will be there and they will move on and reproduce offsprings with their desirable trait. That may be not really desirable, but when these disasters happen, probably their traits are now better off. Now let's recap what we learned about what evolution is. And we know that evolution is a change over time, specifically the traits of organism over successive generation. We also talked about the different factors that causes evolution, such as temperature, water, food, and of course, if the trait is a better trait for that environment, they tend to survive and reproduce, while the others who are not well suited to the environment, they either die off or move elsewhere. And we also talked about rapid evolution, wherein we know that some organisms can rapidly reproduce and produce a trait that's better, such as bacteria that are antibiotic resistance, and also some organisms that survived a very drastic natural disasters or events that cause rapid evolution to occur. I hope this helps in understanding what evolution is. And I will see you in class. Bye.